My name is Emma Gaquin. I'm the Director of Demand Generation here at Logic.io, and your demo wizard today is Navya Prashankar, one of our sales engineers. Setting the stage for today's 30-minute demo, I'll give a brief overview of our current challenges and limitations that we've noticed CPQ can provide for SaaS and subscription deals. Then Navya will jump into a live demo of how Logic.io addresses those challenges. At the end, we'll take a look at any questions or comments that you've sent in either the Q&A or the chat box. To add on to that, just a few housekeeping notes. This demo, again, is being recorded and will be sent to your inboxes if you've registered for this event. So if you have to jump or anything, we will send it out and you'll be able to watch the whole thing. We would love to hear from you. So please put your questions in the comments or the Q&A box. If your question needs more than a quick answer at the end of this session, we'll make sure to follow up and provide you all the details you need. And with that, we will jump into it. Most current CPQ solutions limit SaaS and subscription products and deals. Many of the legacy CPQ tools that we use today are strict in their structures and limit how companies are able to enable their teams and customers. Complex deal structures aren't easily supported by most CPQ solutions, so they're not able to support multi-year agreements, ramps deals, custom segments, calculation-based pricings, or things like complex dependencies. Additionally, configuring the best fit package of products and features is not super easy for reps with the CPQ tools that are out on the market today. They struggle with feature picking, predefined bundles. The UI for most is fairly non-intuitive. It's based on SKUs, not needs. So reps have to comb through a bunch of SKUs, and most are unable to bundle services and hardware. Lastly, CPQ was not built for the expectations of the modern selling process. There's no omni-channel selling. There's a lot of performance and speed limitations. Most require a resource-intensive admin, and there's a slow NPI process. Sure, many of you have experienced some of these headaches that come up with CPQ, and probably a few others as well. Logic was built to create a smooth process for complex products. We're able to do this with attribute-based configuration. So we can handle custom segments, multi-segment ramps. We're able to configure combinations of SaaS hardware and services, and best of all, match your customer requirements to a best fit package or solution for them. With our advanced logic engine, we're able to handle complex logic. We have unmatched performance and speed, so customers can experience almost that Amazon-like shopping experience. Reps can experience it within your CPQ system, and we can handle advanced calculations. With our guided selling, you can navigate through dynamic layouts, dynamic field option and visibility, and best of all, create guided messaging, alerts, and recommendations to better enable your reps to find the best fit products and services for your customers. Lastly, we have a no-code admin with point and click management that's built for business admin and requires less IT and resources. That is a brief overview of Logic.io and what we can do to support SaaS and subscription deals. I'll hand it over to Navya to show it to you live. Continue to post your questions and comments in the chat. Navya, off to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Emma. So as Emma mentioned, I'm going to be showing a couple of different demos which highlight how Logic handles software configuration and custom ramping specifically. So to get started, think of me as an internal sales rep at a software company. I'm starting out in Salesforce CPQ with a new opportunity and new quote for a customer who would like to purchase our Blue Wave software package. As I proceed to the product selection step, I'm going to find my general software configurator. So this is going to have no price attached, but that'll actually build out as we come in and configure our solution. Upon selecting, that's going to launch Logic. And I first want to draw your attention to the layout of this page. There are multiple tabs to navigate through different sections of the configuration, making it really seamless to keep things organized. To get started, I can see that there's a base package already defaulted for me, along with all of the corresponding products added as sales line items. This is where Logic is pulling information from Salesforce CPQ, so all of the product and pricing information is going to live within Salesforce and then pull into Logic. I can also see that one module has been included with this package. Now, using this questionnaire, I can start to answer some questions about my customers' needs. Notice how a couple of the responses have been pre-selected for me. So you always have the option to include preset inputs as well as user inputs. As I move forward, all I need to do is ask my customer if they need to manage pipeline and forecast capabilities and logically model sales territories. Well, right off the bat, I can see that my package has been upgraded to the enterprise bundle, and that first line item has been replaced with the appropriate product and the new list price. If I continue through, customer needs advanced insights. Again, I'm upgraded to the unlimited package, and I can see that 5 additional modules have been included. I'm now going to set the number of users or licenses that my customer needs for this package. I want to draw your attention to the price per user here for the admin users, along with the corresponding line item. Notice as I increase the number of admin users, my price per user is actually decreasing, and the quantity and list price for the line item is dynamically and instantaneously updating. What you're seeing here is some volume-based or tiered pricing in Logic overriding the standard price in Salesforce. So we do have a full math engine in Logic, allowing you to perform complex calculations and other configuration-based pricing. As I move forward, I have the option to include implementation services. I'm presented with 3 different service types to select the most suitable option for my customer. And once I make a selection, I can see that certain resources have been recommended based on the software package I've configured. But I still have the ability to include additional resources as necessary. Within each resource, take a look at that rate and price field. These are going to be completely locked down. And as I change the experience level or geography for my user or for my resource, that rate is going to pull through the appropriate one based on the selections I've made. You'll also see the Logic math engine at work as I increase the number of hours for an engineer and the total price recalculates. I have a couple options for training packages, and you'll see that different features are available in each, adding the corresponding line items here on the right. To determine the appropriate security settings, all I need to do is select my region. And if I need more information, there's a help icon which links out to additional reading material. This can be anything from helper PDFs, product catalogs, even content from your CMS system. Logic just gives you the ability to include all of the relevant information within a single configuration experience. Finally, I'm able to include support plans and any add-on accessories that weren't part of my initial software package. Notice as I select more add-ons, the list of options is limiting down, so I cannot select the same option twice. Now, let's take another look at our sales line items. I call out that these are sales line items because these are all the products that will be passed to the quote line editor in Salesforce CPQ. In the background, I can also be tracking all of this downstream data, in this case, the provisioning details. So these are line items that don't necessarily need to be on the main sales quote, but they're not necessarily products. They're telling me that for that unlimited software package, to actually provision it, well, we're going to need to provision the workflow and approval module via the DevOps team. or this is the number of e-signature users for DocuSign provisioning. So the information you're seeing here can be any information that you need to tie back to your configuration to be used downstream, but again, not necessarily have it on your main quote. Once I'm ready to go, I can hit quote, which will take me back to Salesforce CPQ to proceed with discretionary discounting, approvals, and any document generation. I'll go ahead and switch to the second demo. Here, I'll be highlighting how Logic handles custom ramping and multi-year ramps. From that same product selection step, I'll select the software product, which will launch Logic and allow me to set the ramp schedule. I can set the total term length and the ramp type, which will then set each of the segments, the segment lengths for each subterm, as well as the corresponding start and end dates. Here, I've already pulled in the start date that I set on my original quote when I created it, but you also have the option to make this user editable to change that start date. As I update my term length and the ramp type, you'll notice the segments are then going to update accordingly, change the actual segment term, as well as the start and end dates. Now let's take a look at a custom ramp. I'm prompted to enter each segment's term length. In this case, my customer wants a 2-year term with ramping for 3, 7, 5, and 9 months. So you'll notice that that sets the number of segments. I now have different lengths for each subterm and the corresponding start and end dates. If I tried to say my last term is going to be 10 months, I actually am notified that the total sum of my custom ramps exceeds the total term I've set. So I need to make a change. Let's go ahead and take that back to 9. I'm now able to select the number of licenses for each subterm. And this can really be anything from the number of users, capacity, or even the products for each subterm. My total has now calculated for the entire term, a total of 2,800 for this 2-year term. In my shopping cart, I have the ability to see the full breakdown, starting with the entire term of 2,800 licenses over 24 months, each subterm with its length, its start and end date, as well as the roll-up price for that subterm. And then within each subterm, I'm able to see the quantity of licenses, and this was at 400 per month over 3 months for a total of 1,200 licenses. The unit price per license for each subterm, which is calculated based on a volume discount. So you'll notice they're different for each subterm based on the total quantity of licenses. And then finally, the overage price for each subterm if the customer exceeds the designated quantity for that subterm. And that's going to be priced at 1.5 times the subterm unit price here. Once I push this to quote, you'll see each line item for each subterm is available here within my quote line editor. That's the end of the demos, so I'll pass it back to Emma for the Q&A.
This has been recorded, so we will be able to share this. We also have a list of all your questions, so if we didn't get to it, you will receive specific follow-up for your question in more detail. And if you have any additional ones, feel free to reach out to our team. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.